Good morning or afternoon or nighttime or whenever it is that you're watching this, RACS kindergarteners. Today it's going to be the second day of our communities unit, and today we're really going to be talking about what a community is and that there are different types of communities. So our essential question for today is, how are different communities the same and different? And we're going to begin exploring this question today. We're going to start by reading a book called Communities. Communities. Hi, my name is Jasu. My family and I are getting ready to move into our new house. Wow, there are a lot of power words in here. I wonder if you can start to read this with me. There might be some new words that you don't know, and that's okay too. We're going to start back over at the beginning. Here we go. Hi, my name is Jasu. My family and I are getting ready to move into our new house. I'm so excited because this is a different community than the one I used to live in. Now, if we look down here, we will see the definition for our word community. Let's go over it together. Community, a group of people that live in the same place. That's a pretty good definition. We're going to add on to it for RACs. We're going to say a group of people that live in the same place and work together. Because you can be part of a community, but if you're not working together and trying to help out, then you're not really an active member of that community. So a group of people that live in the same place and work together. Let's keep reading. Did you know that there are different types of communities all over the world? I wonder what kind of different types of communities there are. Some people live in urban communities. This right here, this is the word urban. Can you repeat after me? Urban. Good. So urban is a fancy way of saying city. So Rochester, where we live, is an urban community. It is a city. Let's see what makes an urban community special. These places have many buildings that are close together and super tall. Ooh, those buildings do look very tall. Those tall buildings are called skyscrapers. Many times, people in these communities travel by bus, taxi, subway, or even by walking. A lot of times, people in urban communities live in apartments or townhouses because there is not that much space. So a lot of people live in apartments, but in Rochester, we're still urban, we're still a city, but we have a lot of people that live in houses too. We just also have people who live in apartments as well. Here's the next one. This is another type of community. Look at these pictures. Just looking at the pictures, what is different about them? What do you see that's the same? Let's read more. Other people may live in suburban communities. Can you say this with me? Suburban. Suburban. Other people may live in suburban communities. These are areas that can usually be found right outside the city, but not inside the city. They're just outside. These are going to be places like Arundecoit, where our school is. These are going to be places like Greece and Webster, and pits. These homes are different than what you might see in urban communities because they are not as close together. Yeah, you will see a lot of times in suburban communities, they have large yards and they'll have large places that are only houses and there's no stores or shopping near them. Now I want you to look at this community. How does this picture compare to this picture of our suburban community? And how does this picture compare to our urban community? Hmm. Look at this community. How is it different than urban and suburban communities? Talk to the grown-ups around you. How does this community look different? How does this community look the same? This is a rural community. Say this word with me. Ready? Rural. Rural. The homes are usually far apart with lots of land between them. Which one of these communities looks like where you live? Do we live in a rural community? No, not really. Rural communities are going to be places like Williamson is a rural community, or East Bloomfield is a rural community. Those are places that are very far away from the city. They are far away from the urban communities, and you're going to see a lot of farms. You might see a little village, and some of the houses can be miles apart from each other, which means that a lot of times people in rural communities can't even see their neighbors. Although the communities may look different, they have many things in common. They have hospitals and schools. Every community has some kind of, if it's not a hospital, they might have a health clinic and schools. However, some rural communities will share these places because they are so spread out. For example, my dad grew up in a rural community. He grew up in a very, very small town outside Syracuse, and their town was so small and so rural that they actually had 7 towns combined to make one high school because they were so far away from each other, they didn't have enough kids. Because they were so far away from each other, they didn't have enough kids to make one school. So they ended up having to bus in kids from 7 different towns to make a school. They also have places such as police and fire stations.